Hello, everyone. We are being live streamed now on Facebook, which sometimes I have a little bit of a hard time, going back and forth between Facebook and Zoom. But it does mean that our recording today will be, recorded so that you could share it at a later date with people. You could look at it again if you want to, or you can access the 60 plus other programs that I have tried to record for you about the WAVwatch. So the idea would be that there are so many topics or people that have questions on, would the WAVwatch work for this or this or this? Well, I can't say that it would work per se. I can say that we have frequencies for many, many ideas. And we now have frequencies for 1,000 ideas. And so that, really ups the scale there on how people can use this particular tool. That is a tool that you can wear on your wrist with acoustical frequencies, making it very, very safe. So I'll see if I can go ahead and share my screen. I think everybody can hear me now, or they'd be letting me know. And we'll share our screen and get started. Today, we're going to be talking about heart ideas. Let's see here. Get everything set up. So we're still admitting a few people in. Probably the most important thing today that I want to share with you is that I am not a medical doctor, and the WAVwatch is not considered a medical device. Anybody that gives us some testimonies is strictly, volunteer. No one's been reimbursed. And today we're going to be talking about heart ideas, and that is extremely important. To let you know that it is not a medical device. Again, we are talking about the heart, and that is so important that you get medical advice if you are worried about your heart, if you have some problems. But the WAVwatch could be good while you are waiting to get into a doctor or while you are working on ideas. But again, it is not a medical device. So please, be very careful with that idea. Okay, so I think the neatest thing that I can show you today is this picture right here. Is there a possibility that the WAVwatch would work with some heart ideas? All I can say is it's a possibility. We don't have any double-blind studies on it. But what we have is this amazing picture from Stanford, StanMed and Stanford. And basically, they were able to take images of heart cells that they had used frequencies on. So each one of those little areas is a different frequency that they used and, sent that acoustical frequency into the heart. So just changing the frequency changed the imaging of the heart cell, and they were able to guide those heart cells to a new position, whatever that means. This was part of their study, and hold them in place. So these are all different frequencies and the images of the heart cells that occurred. Haven't you seen this picture before? Doesn't it kind of look like when they put grains of sand on a plate and introduce vibrational frequencies, and the sand changes into intricate patterns just like this? So we can see this effect with the heart cells. And that just amazes me more and more and more. So hopefully there'll be some ideas that you can work with today and be encouraged because of just these simple images. Now, one more idea. Haven't you seen these images all over? Isn't it amazing how ancient people had rugs and, tiles even? The clothing we wear today somewhat has some of these ideas on them. And we see these representations in church windows. We see these ideas everywhere. Yet Stanford was able to take images of heart cells and share them with you. So hopefully that gives you some fun ideas. So I'm still trying to get something up here. I'm not able to. Missing something on my thing, but I think everybody can see and hear me okay. So there are many selections for self-care on the WAVwatch. And this is just one small screen. And if you haven't used your WAVwatch very much yet, or if you're just thinking about ordering, this is one small screen. We've got 1,000 frequencies. And what this screen shows is a category. So this number right here represents how many categories there are. And then if you would open, say, the allergy category, it would show you that there might be 11. This number would change up here and show you a representation of how many frequencies are in that category. Now you can go up with this, just a click of your finger, or you can go down with this one, or you could go back with this arrow right here. And then this one shows you the batteries, some ideas about the battery. Now, it's very important to learn to use your fingers and just tap gently. And some people try to just, smear it, or, your fingers do have an effect. So you'll get the hang of just learning to tap these arrows very carefully. And then sometimes I have fat fingers, and I'm trying to get into allergy, and maybe I actually tap anxiety, so I have to go back and do it over again. But you can get the hang of it very quickly and do that. So basically, when we have 1,000 ideas, you can see that if you go back to the screen that has, I don't think it's going to show up here, but it will say files A to Z. It's down in this area. And when you click on that screen, it will say 1,110, or excuse me, 1,010. It's actually a little bit over 1,000. So if you want to check to make sure how many frequencies your watch has, you're just going to look up files A to Z, and you'll see that number right there. So don't forget, I've already kind of mentioned that we have the private Facebook group, and most of you have watched it or maybe shared some of the ideas on it. The website is WAVwatch.com. And we also have Rumble and YouTube videos that somebody works very hard, and that is Ina Smith and David Andrews are both working to put videos up, to update Rumble, to change some of the WAVwatch frequencies over to Rumble, all kinds of ideas like that. So a shout out to those two who work so hard. And then I also have Tom Newell, who is actually in the Oregon area, and he was in Corvallis, Oregon area. And he also is my customer service. And so you'll talk to him or maybe email him back and forth. And he's also my, I would say, prototype developer, and works with so many different ideas. So a shout out to him and a thank you for him also. So if you haven't caught up with this idea, this is how the WAVwatch works. We think that we have to hear every sound, but that's not true. We can actually absorb sounds through our bones and our skin. So this famous person, an audiologist, tells us that all of our bones are involved in hearing and feeling. So when the skull vibrates, it sends waves through the spine and through the body, through the skin, through the bones. So when you are wearing your WAVwatch, on your wrist. And I do encourage you to wear it on the left wrist because they say that we absorb energy more through our left hand, and then we share it through our right hand. So that's why we happen to shake hands with our right hand. We're actually sharing energy. An old concept that we don't even think about anymore. But I do encourage you to wear it that way. Some people are not, able to do that or want to try something else, and that's fine. You just have to be careful that you're not going to hit the WAVwatch or break it or anything like that. I've had a couple people want to, and they do wear it on their ankle. And that's something that I couldn't do. I mean, I'm clumsy enough that I'd hit it on the door, or, the hallway, something like that, and break it. So just be careful where you decide to wear it. It will get through your body no matter where you wear it. I also have women who have, worn it in their bra. They might be working, like the person who works with my hair, she does wear it in her bra because she's washing hair all day long and she doesn't want to get it wet, obviously. So that's a safe place for her to wear it. And then another person will say, no, I can't do that. I sweat, So everybody has to think of how they're going to wear the WAVwatch. And then one unusual situation, I did have a lady who actually burned her WAVwatch up. I'm going to say that way because, and we, tried to work through some ideas to figure out what had happened. And it turned out that she was a heavy sweater, really. And that at night, she would just wake up dripping. She said sweat would be dripping down her arm. So obviously, that was getting moisture in the back of her watch, and that did affect it and, quote unquote, I'm saying burn it up. It was way too wet. So most people sleeping with it at night is the safest place, but for this lady, it was not. So you have to look at your own ideas, but just remember that it goes through your body at 4.3 times the speed of sound, and so it will go from one point of your body to the next very quickly. You can't even say how fast is 4.3 times the speed of sound. Now, I have showed this before, but I'm going to show it one more time. And these are some ideas on working with playlists 2 and 3. So most of you have already figured out how to use playlist number 1. And this is playlist 2 and 3.
Now, let's say that we have somebody who we want to make a second playlist for, maybe a husband and wife, or maybe you're sharing this watch with somebody who's in assisted living, like my mom, and can't do it herself. So we might want a playlist made and all ready to go. So basically what we're going to do is a little bit different. We're going to find the particular idea that we want, and I'll show you this again with maybe just a
Don't know what I clicked there.
Different idea. So if we wanted to go to chronic, we could go down to chronic fatigue, and we could touch that one. Now this is a little bit different right here. Instead of putting it in the heart folder, you have to touch the menu bar. And then you very carefully go down. This one just goes one at a time, and you'll see add to playlist. So you'll touch add to playlist, and then you'll see your 3 playlists there. So we're going to add this to playlist number 2. And when I touch that, it opens up and it says chronic fatigue, yes or no. So you're going to touch yes, and it's now gives you a signal it's added to playlist number 2. Now, if I want to remove this, I have to go down one arrow, and it will give me a choice of which playlist. And then it will say remove from playlist, yes. So that's a pretty easy one there. Now, if you want to add it to playlist 3, not too hard now. You're going to add that to playlist number 3. If you want to take it out, you're going to remove from the playlist right in those particular areas. So playlist 2 and 3 go through the home screen, and you arrow down to add to playlist or remove from playlist. Hope that helps you.
Like I slurred there, I said, hope that helps you. So everybody hopefully is using those playlists because people are sharing the WAVwatch with, different family and friends and things like that. So those playlists might come in very handy. And then I know one lady that has a playlist just for her dogs. And so she has anxiety on there and some different, calming and things like that. And she can just touch playlist number 3 when her dog is in the room, and she sets her WAVwatch just on a counter or, coffee table, whatever. And she does play it loud enough so that the animal can hear it. And that animal will just calm down, sit at her feet. So I thought that was kind of fun too. So we're going to be talking a little bit today about blood vessels, our heart, basically. And I already showed you this last week, but I thought it was such a great little idea. I had no idea. I didn't remember. I might have learned this in 8th grade or something, but really kind of forgotten it. But we have 60,000 miles of blood vessels. So the chances that something is going to mess up gets bigger and bigger and more, larger and larger. How many ways can I say that? They change as we age, obviously, or as different things happen to our body. So very important to have some ideas on what you could do for different ideas about your blood vessels in your body. Now, again, I'm trying to be very careful and safe here. We're talking about heart ideas today. But if you're having a sudden or unusual chest pain or think you're having a heart attack or heart problems, make sure that you seek emergency medical care. You talk to your doctor, you get an appointment, whatever the necessity is. This is just information on, some ideas that we have on the WAVwatch and explaining what they are. It is, quote unquote, not saying that this is medical advice. This is a be all end all. It is saying these are some ideas, but you have to be careful. You are talking about your heart, and you are the person in charge of your self-care and getting yourself to the hospital if needed. So basically, these are some frequencies that are on the WAVwatch. They are in the organs folder, and then you would go to heart frequencies. And these are all your choices, So like I usually say, I think you should play most of them. If you know that you're having trouble with your heart or you're concerned or it runs in your family, maybe you're trying to protect and prevent, there is no reason why you couldn't run all of these on the WAVwatch. You don't just have to pick one out. You could pick more than one. You could pick all of them. You could pick one and run it all night long. Different ways to use it. And again, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have been diagnosed with exactly what you're playing. There are some overlaps. And so many times we've seen something that was, quote unquote, labeled with a frequency, yet it was a different frequency that helped the medical label. Maybe a different way to say that is I had a lady who had Bell's palsy. And at that point in time, I didn't have a frequency for Bell's palsy. And we muscle tested and we played dystonia, which is a problem with nerves. And dystonia in 25 minutes, I'm not exaggerating, in the length of time that it took to eat dinner, her Bell's palsy of 25 years went away. And we have videos and people seeing it and talking about it all over the place. So it was a completely different frequency. It wasn't Bell's palsy. It was a nerve idea. So the same thing goes here. You would probably be really informed and really helpful if you play everything once in a while in this particular folder, and then later, pick out one and maybe play it a little bit longer if you know you've been diagnosed with it, or do your own muscle testing. And don't forget, I have a hour that I have talked about muscle testing, and you can learn muscle testing, or maybe you can look up muscle testing on your own if that's of interest to you. So the very first one on there is a microvascular angina. And these are the smallest blood vessels in the arteries. And it's all about oxygen, isn't it? Everything is about oxygen. So this will cause chest pain. And this is a little bit different. So these are blood spasms or spasms in the blood vessels, and they happen while you're resting, not while you're working hard or working out or running or something like that. So that might be one of your clues right there. You're setting and doing not too much, yet you're having spasms and problems in the chest. And if somebody wants to add, I'm okay with that. That's definitely okay. But for sure at the end, we will open this up so everybody can make some comments. So this does affect more postmenopausal women, and smokers, somebody that has hypertension problems, and diabetics. So this would be an idea. It's on the WAVwatch. But again, we also have angina. So both of those are similar, but they're a little bit different. So it's not going to hurt you to play both of them. So angina, is going to be a little bit more severe pain in the chest. It also might spread to the shoulders and the arm and the neck. And this, again, happens during physical activity. And what I thought was interesting was this quote from Harvard that it says, emotional stress. And that's what we're having so much of today in our life is emotional stress. So don't forget that one too, that this pain can come up when you're stressed, just not when physical activity. And it could even be after big meals, which was another one that I hadn't thought about. So overeating could cause some problems too, people. So if I'm reading everything from Harvard, it's not sharp pain. It's more a sense of pressure or squeezing. Sometimes it's just uncomfortableness, but you can change positions and take a deep breath. So that does make a little bit of difference in there. It's not affected, by you changing that. So if you change that and it doesn't stop it, then that gives you another clue that you need to contact your doctor. You need to get to work. You need to find out all about your heart and work with yourself. This is just an image. I wish I would have known this 20, 30 years ago. I'm not a specialist in heart, but everything just gets more and more interesting as I age and as I learn more. I find out I'm a lifelong learner, and that's what we all want to be, especially about our health, I think. So these are some areas that we're talking about today. Just kind of gives you a picture, and that was for Mayo. So another idea that's on the WAVwatch is for aortic valve stenosis. And so these are the cusps or flaps, and they have become stiff and fused together, and the openings closed up. So a lot of times this does happen at birth, but later on, something like this could occur. And so some people do have surgery to replace this valve. So you might hear some whooshing, you're going to a swishing sound in your ears. There could be some chest pain, some dizziness, fainting. So if you're having any of these ideas, again, really get to the doctor, really start working, start playing what's on the WAVwatch, and do not waste any time doing some of these things. So children do have problems with this. Now, this is one that kind of blew me away. A cardiac arrhythmia is an abnormal heart rate, but look at how many different heart arrhythmias there are, all kinds of names. So this is a huge category, and I don't have frequencies for all of them, quite a few of them. But so when we talk about an arrhythmia, there are many different kinds of them. So they're in the, AB block. There's even 3 different kinds of that, 3 degrees. So this could be very different for you. So again, this is cardiac arrhythmia. So if you're having heartbeats that are abnormal, slow, or fast, these are arrhythmias, and you can feel it. Okay. Another one on the WAVwatch. Now, if you're a good muscle tester and you test that you need XYZ frequency in the heart category, you might also test how long you need that frequency for. So some people are good enough, they can test and say, oh, I need to play that frequency for 3 hours. Oh, I just need that for 8 minutes, just like it says. So that's another good trick to learn with the muscle testing. So this is just an image I was able to capture, and it just shows narrowing of our arteries caused by cholesterol. So of course, the list goes on and on and on for cholesterol. So we have so many problems from cholesterol plaques lining our arteries, and they're actually little crystalline shapes as they have been able to take imaging smaller and smaller of them. So this is the particular one. We all should be worried about this one. And I think it's all something that we can do. Of course, there's lots of controversy about whether it's from our foods or whether it isn't. Some of us are eating the wrong kind of foods, the wrong kind of fats, and I would definitely say there's some problems there. But what we really need to be thinking about, is some more diseases. Let me see, I'm going to flip slides here a little bit. What's I looking for here? There we go. So this is a cholesterol, blockage from cholesterol. And so this is a cholesterol embolism, and this is on our WAVwatch. And so that's what I'm saying. It kind of connects with cholesterol. And I hadn't seen a picture of this before and connected all of this. So this is plaque, and it can travel throughout our body. It just doesn't travel to our heart. This is one on our toes. So it's from, our head to our toes that cholesterol can be bothering us. So we need to be really careful and understand what we're doing with cholesterol in our life. And it goes two ways, because our liver makes cholesterol. So what I'm saying is that if you think that you're having cholesterol trouble, or all of us, just for prevention, we should be playing liver on the watch also. It's in the organ folder, and we need to be playing that along with the heart folder, because it is trying to regulate the cholesterol that's being produced. So excess cholesterol can be flushed out from the gallbladder. So, wow, we need to play gallbladder also. And then you might do a liver gallbladder cleanse once in a while, or you have liver and gallbladder cleanses on the WAVwatch. Now, just the opposite, your brain is 60% cholesterol. So what's that mean? I think this is one that people kind of miss. So I really want to caution you that we need to build up our liver. We need to make sure that it's functioning. It has 500 jobs to do every day, and it does store toxins because sometimes it cannot get them out. Now, I saw several ideas on the internet that says, no, that's not true. The cholesterol and your liver works perfectly. No, it doesn't. Your liver does not work perfectly, and it needs lots of help. So you do have to be working with it. But the opposite is, do you really want to take a quote unquote prescription drug because your cholesterol is too high? So when you start opening the doors to taking prescription drugs for your brain, you are risking a higher risk of Alzheimer's or dementia. Don't trust me. Look it up on the internet. The increase in our elderly people who have dementia, Alzheimer's, brain problems is just astronomically different when we started taking certain prescriptions to control our cholesterol. So that's because our brain is cholesterol. It's supposed to have cholesterol in it. We don't want it too low. But if you have cholesterol problems, you've got to make a decision about what to do. So one idea is on the WAVwatch, work with the liver. And the other idea would be to go to the heart folder and place some of those ideas about cholesterol. So I think I hope I've hit that hard enough, and I'm sure there'll be some discussion on it later. Because remember, cholesterol can start forming into crystals, and wow, all of a sudden you have plaque, and it can travel throughout your whole body. So to go back just a little bit, we've got lots of diseases here, and these are all connected to the atherosclerosis. So make sure that you're playing that for some protection. We're all in this together. There's no reason why you can't play for protection. And of course, there are no guarantees. You're just trying to do something different. It's just like you're exercising for your heart, you're keeping your stress levels low for your heart, and maybe you're playing frequencies for your heart. And of course, I'm hoping that you're taking some supplements and some essential oils, So we have to figure out our own path and what we want to do. And I think it's very exciting to be able to step up and take better care of ourselves. So AFib is another one. I guess lots of people do not have any symptoms. Now, I don't guess I would have realized that. I'm telling you, the truth out front. I don't guess I realized that. It's like, if you have AFib, wouldn't you have a symptom? But no, people may not have any symptoms. It may only be when you go to a doctor that he's telling you that you have it. So some people will have fast pounding heartbeat, shortness of breath, or lightheadedness. So lots of different symptoms, but not necessarily anything to do with your heart, that it is a pain or anything, but you will feel the pounding heartbeat, is what I'm understanding. Of course, when you go to the medical community, they could do some shock therapy to get you back in. And they have some procedures to block the faulty heart signals. They have medications, but make sure that you go so that you're making a choice, so that you know what your choices are and you have something to do for your heart. Don't stop. We know that heart problems are the #1 killer in the US. And all of us know somebody that has had problems with it. So here's another idea. So when we have, atrial problems, fibrillation problems, we can also have a stroke or an embolism. So this was just kind of a picture I found that kind of showed how it could happen. So we don't have to be medical doctors to know that if something happens in one area of our body, in the blood and our blood vessels, that it's going to affect another area. So we've got to take better care of ourselves and really be stepping out and paying attention to our bodies. And thankfully, I've had several people say that the WAVwatch makes them think about their body a little bit more. They never thought about listening to their body as much as they are now using the WAVwatch. And so that's just one of the greatest things that I think that somebody can say, I'm taking better self-care. So whether you're doing it with the WAVwatch or anything else, it really makes no difference. You are just stepping up for your own self-care. We can't always rush to the doctors. They don't always have a pill. The list goes on and on. They have so many things that they can do for us, and we need to be using them, but we also need to be using our own common sense and our own self-care and really learning about our bodies. That's one of the best things. So here's another frequency, and this is endocarditis, and it's an infection. So all kinds of infections can affect our heart. Bacteria, fungus, other germs can attach to damaged areas in your heart. And especially if you've had artificial heart valves, you've had damaged valves, or any other heart problems, you are really needing to put into your self-care procedure some protection against different types of infections from bacteria or fungus or other ideas. So also go to the germ folder that's on the WAVwatch for added support and play through that once in a while. Very, very important to protect ourselves from different bacteria, and it goes on and on. So we have a frequency for heart failure. So obviously there's not enough blood. It can't pump enough through our body. You're not getting enough oxygen. And I guess the CDC has a statistic out there, 6.2 million Americans have heart failure. So pretty important to play that once in a while, see what you can do. We also have heart defects, septal heart defects. It's usually a hole. And that's in the wall that separates the heart's left and right sides. And it's usually children that are born with that opening that hasn't closed correctly. We all have the opening, when we're in the womb, and that opening needs to close up within several weeks or months after we're born. So it's very, very important that does happen, but sometimes it doesn't. So children have problems with heart septal defects, and that is one. And maybe I should have put that one in the kids folder, but put it in the heart one where it was a little bit more obvious there for you to see. Now we have heart valve diseases. And again, there's so much here. This is just giving you some definitions. I'm not trying to give anything, but let you know that this is a definition of what this is, and this is on the WAVwatch, but you need to make sure that you're getting some guidance from that medical concern if you do need that. So a lot of people are first going to feel some kind of a murmur or some kind of an irritation in their heart, and usually they're going to know it. But wow, I did not find the statistics because I forgot to look of people that have absolutely no warning of when anything is going on with their heart. And some of you may know that my husband had a heart attack, and I had 5 different health professionals, work with him a little bit, and everybody thought it was gallbladder. He was having gallbladder pain. He had absolutely not one problem with his heart. So, no pain, no, nothing, none of the regular symptoms. And then, somebody else would say, oh, I've seen that symptom as a heart symptom. And I guess we had missed it, and those other 5 people that helped with him had missed it also. But so you do not know sometimes, and I don't know what the statistics are. Maybe somebody could does know that or whatever, on how many people have no signs whatsoever that their heart is messing up. And then all of a sudden, bam. So that's why I'm saying again, what is it going to hurt you to run through some of these heart problems and try to be proactive? It's kind of like taking a bottle of pills for a particular area, or a bottle of supplements, or an herbal to protect your heart. Very easy to do. Very, very easy. So the information I found is that you have a murmur, that it could indicate some valve problems. It could be a stenosis, a stiffening of a valve, or it could be when the valve is allowed to regurgitate because it's moving back and forth and that flow goes backwards, and a prolapse, and the leaflets are closed incorrectly, or maybe even the valve is missing. So these are all heart valve diseases. And I just had one label on the WAVwatch. I do not know. I do not have any indications or any testimonies from anybody on this. But again, you may not have gotten in right when I started the program, but I hope that you take those images that I showed, which are the cells that StanMed is where the website was, that Stanford took as they introduced a frequency to all of these cells. And every frequency did something to the different cells. They could see it, they could visualize it, they could photograph it. And I showed you that picture. So maybe towards the end, I'll go back to make sure that everybody saw that. So what I'm saying is, I'm hoping that you see that they are saying that frequencies do affect the heart cells. So there's a possibility that some of these ideas could be improved with using different frequencies. So here's a mitral valve prolapse. They're saying it isn't life-threatening. I tell people a lot of times to take a lot of B vitamins when you're having valve problems, but you're going to possibly need some surgery, we don't know. You don't know until you check into it. So if you're having or have been diagnosed with mitral valve prolapse, start using this, or maybe if somebody in your family has had it, then that might be something you want to do too to protect yourself. So this is just on the WAVwatch. And again, that's why I say run all of the frequencies that are in the heart problem. If you are having heart problems, if you're concerned about it, if it runs in your family, the list is endless on why you should run all of them. So here's another idea, myocarditis. And I don't know how much I want to get into this today. I did not look for the statistics on how many of our younger age group are having trouble with myocarditis. I just ran out of time, but it was something that I was very interested in. Most of you have probably heard that the younger people that, 20 to 40 are having many more bouts of myocarditis and heart problems and heart inflammation. So my idea again, if you know anybody that's had anything done to their arm, if you've had it done yourself, hey, just try to protect yourself. So this inflammation of the heart muscle can be from a drug reaction. Well, that's what I can say right there. It's a drug reaction, or it could be an inflammatory condition. Okay. So the best thing to play is a viral detox. So you go to the viral area and you play everything that's in the virus folder. There is a frequency for viral immune support, and that is vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, and iodine. So especially if you're traveling, you may not travel with your little pill bottle that has those in it, or you may not be eating foods that have vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, and iodine. And so you have it on your WAVwatch. Other people say that they use it when they go to a large gathering, or, a basketball game, and they're sitting by a lot of people, and the viruses could be rampant in that area. And so they are playing the viral immune system. Now, the last one, viral detox, which is in the detox folder. So it's an attempt to detoxify viruses, no matter if they came from a drug reaction or if they came from just viruses in general. So hit those hard to protect yourself. And even if you're around somebody who has had the drug reaction, or who has had something put into their arm. I'm trying to be so careful with what I say. It's very important also that we're careful when we work with our loved ones that have had this done, because so many people have had some shedding effects. And so, when I'm around some of my family that has had this done, I always play the viral detox. I play viruses, and I especially play the one that's in the detox folder, the viral detox. So hopefully you'll catch up on that, and it'll just be second nature to you to protect yourself. Now, this is a different one. This is pericarditis, and this is the inflammation of a different area of your heart. Anytime you see the itis, we're talking about some kind of an inflammation. So another one that I didn't even put on here is that you want to run inflammation, pain, and trauma. So that's a really good one at any time of the day or night. But pericarditis is 80 to 90% from viruses. So there we go again with that word, play viruses. So this is from trusted source, and then I got this from Healthline. So you may have pericarditis. It could last for last less than 3 weeks. Well, that's kind of scary to think that your heart may be messing up, that you could have something like this for 3 weeks. So make sure that you are giving yourself lots of extra protection by playing the pericarditis, by playing inflammation, pain, and trauma, and playing viruses all night long on a loop if you have something that's been diagnosed that's this severe. So tachycardia is one of the last ones that's on the WAVwatch, and I'm sure there are more frequencies for heart. It's just kind of overwhelming, but please try to protect yourself and play some of these once in a while just as a preventive. So your tachycardia, you're going to have a faster heartbeat, and you're going to get possibly fainting, lightheadedness, dizziness, rapid, palpitations, fluttering, a bounding pulse. Now, I don't know what that one is, bounding pulse. Maybe somebody can identify that one a little bit. Obviously, chest discomfort, shortness of breath, or fatigue. So that is the last one that is on the WAVwatch. And I think that kind of covers some of the ideas that I wanted to share with you today. Now, several of these are new. They would not be on the watches that have the 870 frequencies. They are newer to the watches that have 1,000 frequencies. And I wanted to show you this again, just in case anybody missed it, but this is my favorite imaging here. And I've explained it a couple times, but just kind of wanted to end up with that. And I did have to go backwards. But these are really individual pictures of heart cells introduced to a different frequency. Each one is a different frequency. So, and as it was described from Stanford, a simple change in frequency and amplitude puts the cells in motion, guides them to a new position, holds them in place. So all I can say is that it does look like frequencies can move the heart cells from these images. So please take this to heart and use your WAVwatch for your heart once in a while for prevention and protection. So I am opening this up. I kind of stopped my rapid fire going through the frequencies there and the slides and images. And yes, I saw that just as I clicked the last button, but Russ is telling us this is cymatics. Those pictures that I just showed you, I showed you the very first one and the very end one. Those images of blood cells look just like cymatics. And they actually think that the earth could have been formed with sound, because you could see on some images that they've done with sand and frequencies, it looks just like a mountain builds up, and then you could see the rivers and the valleys with sand changing just from frequencies. So don't forget that frequencies are all around us. God spoke us into existence. The list goes on and on. So thank you for, using frequencies and your interest in the WAVwatch. So I'll open this up, and if I think we can go pretty slowly, we do pretty good. And you are welcome to ask a couple questions here. Anybody have any questions or comments?
Linda.
Yeah.
Mark. My watch has 870 frequencies, and I think I can order a card from you that has
Yes.
the rest of them, because it does have the card slot in the bottom.
Mhm.
But I guess I need to do that today. So
Yes.
I'll
So I
do
didn't
that.
address that. That was fairly new. It was just something that, came up. And so on the website now, you can just order a card at $60, and it gives you directions there for changing that card. And it's really a 15-second procedure, to take one card in and put the other one, take it out and save your old card, because, you never know. And just make sure that it gets seated correctly. And then when you order that, you'll get a new booklet. And I think you'll be able to see all the frequencies and join that.
That's what the little round hole is, and that's the ejection mechanism behind that hole next to the card.
It's usually your fingernail. Just put the fingernail in and out.
Oh,
with
okay.
that. Yeah. Mhm.
Gotcha. That's probably a reset button then or something.
Yes.
Actually, Linda, the round hole down by the card is a microphone, right?
I'm not sure if he's talking about that one. So there's this tiny, tiny one also that's there. And some of the models have them and some of them don't. But if it's to the right, like Deanna said, it is an older version that might even have a microphone, or no, you said it, audio jack for earplugs. Depends on which hole you're talking about, a bigger one or a tiny, tiny one.
Exactly. But the card doesn't come out with an eject button. It's your fingernail right on the card, and it's spring loaded and pops out.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you
it's
so much.
like
It's like
And see, I was trying to show you, there's a really tiny button here. I don't know if you could see it, a really tiny hole. Don't use that one either, you know. And then some of the different models had a hole that was right here, you know, and that was for the ear. And I never used that, but some people were trying to, you know, turn the frequencies up as loud as they could and put earbuds in, and that kind of defeated the whole purpose. That makes us a little bit handicapped when we've got something ringing in our ears all day long, when we can absorb those frequencies through our skin. So I had a different mold made and the earbud hole taken out.
While you're on that subject, is it something that I forgot I was going to ask the question now. Maybe I need to run mental clarity. If you turn the watch up, you're actually taking the frequencies in various places, so through your auditory nerves as well as through your wrist. It would seem that it would have a synergistic effect.
And that's what I'm saying. You can do that. You definitely can do that. But you will find that people will not use the WAVwatch as much, because who wants to listen to a bee buzz all day long in their ear, you know? But they will use the frequencies day and night, you know, so you can make your choices on how you want to do that. And then I have the cutest testimony from a lady, and she said, oh, I walk into a room and I turn my WAVwatch up as loud as it'll go so everybody can ask me what I have on my wrist, and then I can start explaining frequencies to people. So that's a darling idea too. So you make the choices. There are different ways to use it. And then someone asking the question, can I wear the watch when I'm walking around the house doing things? Yes, definitely you can. You just have to be careful that you're not washing dishes and putting your hands in the water, you know. And I've had some people actually step into the shower with their WAVwatch on, you know. So yes, it's a good time to watch it wear it when you're watching TV and slowing down. I just don't advise that you wear the WAVwatch at all when you are doing, you know, exercise and, you know, a lot of heavy work and that kind of thing. So you're just trying to take care of it. It's a valuable tool that you don't want to break.
Linda, this is Virgil. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Hi, Virgil.
Hi. Is there a place I can see where the additional frequency, what they are? In other words, I have the old model, of course.
It is on the website. You can go to products and then click on the order the TF card. And in that area, it also has one more space that says click here to see the 1,000 frequencies. So you can see those. Okay.
Okay.
And then somebody else was asking, how do I see how many I have on the WAVwatch? So you're going to go right here and you're going to turn the WAVwatch on. And then you'll swipe to the screen, and what you're looking for is files A to Z. It's kind of hard to show, you know, files A to Z, the middle one. And as soon as you touch files A to Z, see now mine says right at the top, it says 1010. So it has 1,010 frequencies. Some of the older ones have 870. So then all you have to do is eject this card right here and put a new card in. Okay.
Did you put any more combinations in this new set?
I did not, because on a brand new watch, we are able to loop those combinations around all day long. So you can take one folder of like 20 ideas and we have a new button, you touch it, or a new icon, I should say, and it will loop 20 ideas all day long if you want to do that.
Well, so I can throw my other ones away and buy another one.
Share them with somebody. And I have Vienna on today, and I think she has the most amazing testimony because she knew somebody that shared her watch, you know, and that's what I get a lot of good out of, is passing it around. So I don't know, Vienna, do you want to take a minute and share that idea? We've shared it several times, but we have new people on. So here's what sharing.
I'd be glad to. I went to an event where I had a group of friends I've just met online before. So I was meeting first time in person, and I had my WAVwatch along. So I said, oh, I want to a good friend, hey, I want to show you this thing now that we're in person. And I put it on her. She was like, oh my goodness. She looked through the book. She looked through all the ideas, and she says, I really want to get one of these for myself. And I really want my friend Sylvia to try it. She had a stroke 18 months ago, and I just don't know how to help her, but my heart really goes out to her and her family. They're staying up a good part of the night trying to help her. She's up 4 or 5 times a night going to the bathroom and can't make it by herself, and they're losing sleep, and it's affecting their work. And oh, if it would help my friend to be able to walk better, talk better, it would mean the world to me. I said, okay, yeah, here, keep this one and just pay for it on the website. So we got that all taken care of. And as soon as the event was over, she took it over to her friend before my friend was moving to Colorado. She just had a few days to share it with her friend. And in 2.5 days, Sylvia had the experience of her speech clearing up, her walking getting more fluid instead of stilted and wooden. She was able to go upstairs with alternating feet instead of up one, next, up one, bring up one, bring up. And her children were just like, oh my goodness. Probably one of the biggest ones that affected them was now she slept through the night till 5 or 6 in the morning. And so everybody got more sleep. And so we have 2 different recorded testimonies from Sylvia. I don't know if both are on the website yet, but they're like 6 minutes of her just saying, wow, my life is altogether different. My whole family is so grateful. And so she got her own now. And that was just from, I shared with a friend who shared with a friend, and Linda shared with me. So look at that.
There you go. Share, share, share.
Ripples
That's
in the
how our
pond.
life needs to be, doesn't it? Instead of us getting all stressed and worried, if we put out those positive frequencies and share, maybe we can do more in the world than the negative frequencies, obviously. So
Linda, I wanted to share about, I want
Oh.
to share about animals too. Somebody spoke of, what if I turn up the volume? There are, maybe it depends on what you're playing. I suppose it depends on what you're playing. Sometimes animals will come close because they want to be part of it. And sometimes they'll go to another room if it's not something that their body knows they will need. And you've had people buy them for their cats and put it under the cat bed. And there are people that strap it on their dog or turn it up and let it play in the room. So animals are fun to watch because no placebo effect there.
And I have somebody that bought one for his horse, and he hangs it in the horse corral, I guess you'd say, and has it loud, so the horse can hear it, but he swears by it. So, and then somebody else used it on a duck. So we cannot talk too much about animals. It is very fun. All right. Any other comments or questions?
Hey,
I have
Linda.
I have a quick
Go ahead.
question. I have not purchased one yet. I just actually saw you yesterday, and so decided to get on this just to hear what was going on. And I was 8 minutes late to get on, so I apologize for that. How often do you recommend that you wear it? Like, I know just from experience, while we're sleeping is the best time that healing happens in the body. So I would imagine like sleeping with it is the best, but is there a certain time frame that you're supposed to wear it, or like, what are the suggestions on that?
Well, people that have worked with frequencies suggested 8 minutes minimum. So most of the frequencies that I have on there are 8 minutes minimum. And I was able to put more frequencies on. I started out using some longer frequency sets because I was combining them. So I learned through working with women's breast health that when they just played a frequency labeled breast cyst, okay, that they didn't have near as good a response if they didn't play inflammation, pain, and trauma, liver detox, and some emotions. So I put all those frequencies together and made you a longer frequency set. So if you are looking at some of those frequencies that are 30 minutes, that tells you that I've combine things from experience. If it is an 8-minute one, which is the minimum suggestion, you can do some of your own ideas and tie things together, play it the 8 minutes, or you can loop it and play it for several hours. And again, we do suggest muscle testing or sometimes our intuition or prayer to know how long to run something, but you're not going to hurt yourself by running it longer. Remember, we listen to sounds 24 hours a day, So the minimum is 8, and then you can take off from there using your self-care ideas.
Linda,
Yeah, I was actually sitting on my patio last night, reading a book, and the night bugs were like vibrating like crazy. And I'm like, you know what? We're probably supposed to be outside listening to this frequency. Like, it's a natural thing. And I think we're supposed to be out just listening to it. Like, God is providing us for that. And we're too busy and inside just not doing that. So yeah, I'm going to purchase one after this, but I just wasn't sure. Do you wear it all day and just play different things? Like, you can't overdo it, I guess, right?
That's right. As far as I
do you
am,
have like sleeping playlists? Like, I do listen to a 432 hertz, like 8-hour deep REM, every once in a while. If I can't get into sleep, I'll just put that on my phone and listen to that. And that's helpful. But do you have
you
something?
still have to make your own decision. There's lots of ideas for sleep and insomnia. And I have one, again, there's workshops. There's 60 hours of, like today, this is 1 hour. So I have 60 other presentations minimum. I might have 64 now. I have presentations on different topics. And one of those topics is what you can do for insomnia. So there's lots of ideas
on your website that I could access them now.
Okay, it would be on Facebook. WAVwatch Frequency Fanatics is where those recordings are at.
Okay, yeah, I wrote that down. Okay, great. Thanks. I don't want to take up too much time.
Yep.
I appreciate it.
All right, Virgil.
Linda, I have gone to another level with this watch. I would encourage anyone who has a condition to work with a practitioner who can look at their body and look at cause, because I'm finding that the frequencies themselves by labels are not necessarily what one might need. Looking at causality, I find dowsing, sometimes I'll get a frequency that has nothing to do with what my condition is that I'm working with that turns out to be very strong. And then it becomes a portal to open up the pathway for healing of the effect that I'm looking for. So I'm saying there are many more, a practitioner who is skilled with this that can help an individual get to cause and work with the WAVwatch is going to amplify its effect. It's great for dealing with symptomology, but there are many levels beyond that this offers for those who are able to step there. Now, I don't recommend that I go and take a dowsing pendulum and ask myself, do I have cancer? And I want to find the underlying cause, because I still deal with my own terror, fear programs, but someone else can do it for me.
Right.
So, and I know there are people on here who have those skill sets who can help others.
And so a lot of times they speak up, and that's why we need to be reaching out. And I keep trying to say, you need to check, if you think something is going on, you need to check with other people, you need to go medical. And I should have said medical or alternative medical. Great idea. But some of us don't have access to some alternative practitioners sometimes, but hopefully you can find someone if you haven't already started. So Vienna, Dunham is one in the Kansas City area that does a lot and teaches muscle testing. I don't know if there's anybody else that wants to put their name and address in or anything that's, that they work in a specific area of the country. That would be great too, if you want to put it in on the sidebar. So any other ideas that anybody would love to like to share?
Linda, somebody asked about fever blisters and what a tool we have in our hands with Google, whatever someone may or may not believe about that. I just typed in what causes fever blisters. I had an idea, I knew what it was, but I just dropped that in the chat. Herpes simplex virus type 1. So go play herpes on the watch. So that was the answer to the question about the fever blister.
Thank you. Yes.
Linda, this is Vicki.
Yes.
I loaned one of my watches out to a friend yesterday who is having a spear plantar fasciitis. And so I programmed a few things in for him. I'd done pain, inflammation, trauma, and then fasciitis, which is on the new. Do you have any other suggestions, or anybody have any other suggestions of either WAVwatch things or other?
I would play more of the muscles rather, not just the fasciitis. Again, there's some
Okay.
connections there. So I would play several in that category there.
Okay.
I'm not aware of any viruses or anything connected with that, but that's, again, like Deanna said, that's a Google idea possibly. But
Yeah.
the other idea would be minerals. Make sure they have enough salt, natural salt.
Okay.
Too. And Virgil, I don't know if you had a comment. Go ahead.
Mute.
See, I think you're muted, Virgil.
I've been doing muscle testing, self-testing, energetic stuff for 40 years now. And when I use the WAVwatch or any type of energy healing, the body burns minerals. It functions on minerals. Linda's correct. Salt works. Magnesium especially, trace minerals. Everything works better when the body's properly hydrated, mineralized with sufficient magnesium. And magnesium burns more than anything else in the body using this watch. You need a lot of magnesium. At least
Thanks.
that's my assessment.
Perfect. All right, Kim.
Yes. Hey, I have an update with my friend Linda, who's growing blood. And she, in 2 weeks' time, well, her first 2 weeks, she went from 9.7 to 9.8 in her blood. But then the next 2 weeks, she wore the WAVwatch. And she went from 9.8 to 10.3. And she was just so thrilled, and she's feeling great. And I said, her doctor was even thrilled. But then I found out she was running through the blood file all the time, the whole blood folder. Is it okay for her to concentrate on the blood growing, like hit blood growth for a while?
She could once in a while, sometimes at night she could run the blood growing, all night long. But, she's had some improvements doing all of them. And that's kind of the idea, that they're all similar frequencies. So it doesn't hurt to run all of them. And then once in a while, run it just the one that she wants. So
Okay.
what is the
Well,
number that they want that to change to?
I think they want to get her to 13, which is where she was.
13.
So we decided when she gets to 13, we'll have a big party.
I
But
like that. Clue us in.
I will. She is thrilled. She can even walk upstairs without worrying right now. And she couldn't go up her stairs at all. And so she's really excited.
Now, refresh my memory. What had caused the problem with her blood? Did they know?
Blood thinners.
Oh.
She had 2 heart ablations in a 5-year time, one on the upper heart, one on the lower heart. And they put her on a blood thinner so she wouldn't throw a blood clot. And she was bleeding out, basically. Her blood was bleeding out of her veins. So she lost a lot of blood.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, crazy.
That's
She
a
wound
big
up in
one.
the hospital. She was not doing well,
Wow.
but she loves the WAVwatch. So
Thanks for that update. Anything else?
Can I add something? May I speak?
Sure.
Okay. I have been doing a lot of research, and I'm finding now, and I would encourage everyone here to find out about alkalinizing the body with the interstitium and learning how to use bicarbonates, baking soda to keep the pH alkaline. And Linda knows how to do that. Linda knows a lot about it. There's a lot of work. You can go to my Facebook page. I'm not selling anything, and look under Dr. Robert Young on my postings under Virgil Jackson. Do your own research, make your own decisions. I think it'll help everyone. It'll increase the effectiveness of the outcome of the WAVwatch. I just say that in service. Alkalinity is really essential and key. Listen, I can check my pH with urine with pH paper, and I'll be alkaline in the morning, and I can have some shock or trauma or get upset, check my pH, and it goes down into acidity. Emotions, food, everything affects it. So the hyperperfusion of alkalinity into the body in today's environment is essential for survival and thriving, in my view. But I say, don't believe me, look at the research I posted on my Facebook page. Virgil Jackson is my name in the Villages. I'm sorry, I moved. Jacksonville, Florida. And you can just check it out, listen to the videos. I don't have any investment. I'm not selling anything, don't need anything. So check it out for yourselves.
And then Virgil, you might like to know that I was able to put pH balance on the new WAVwatch. So it has,
now I know I'm going to buy it. Hell.
yeah,
that's
there
great.
you go. So I've got acidosis and alkalosis. So you can try that also.
That's fantastic. Thanks, Linda.
It's in self-care.
Oh, fantastic.
Hey, Linda,
Yes.
it's Shafia. And I just wanted to mention the person who was asking about fasciitis. Any itis is an inflammation. And when we have inflammation, it's a localized fever. So besides the one you suggested, the pain, trauma, inflammation, just go to all the detox, because when you really think about the bottoms of your feet, sometimes gravity works and the toxins just go to the bottom of your body and to the bottoms of your feet. And so working with all the detox programs, in my
You think
opinion, when
Just
you're
playing the
not,
whole program.
I just, do some muscle testing or just go through all of the detox. You just never know. It may be EMFs, it may be heavy metals, it may be something else. So it's not going to hurt to run them all, and you may hit a gold mine.
I'm not sure
There
I
you go.
got them to the muscle testing yet. I just got them to the WAVwatch yesterday. So they think I'm already a little bit strange, but that's okay. We're going to keep moving forward. But thank you for the information.
That is so great. And that's why it's nice to have some questions and answers and let everybody has great ideas to add to it. And that's what we need. And someone just asked if the pH balance is on the new SD card. Definitely. So when you get the new SD card, it just pops it right up to over 1,000 frequencies. So you don't have to do anything but change cards. So,
And you
all
can
right, Libby.
you can put that on and see if it works by just simply getting some litmus paper on Amazon for $3 and peeing on it and seeing if the urine changes and check your color. I'm all for science. I want
Self-care and
validation.
self-test. There you go.
Yeah, sure.
All right, Libby.
Just for the lady that's new, if she goes onto your Facebook frequency, fanatics, there are several times where you relate to how you can do muscle testing with the WAVwatch, and she can learn about that since that's a new concept to her, and understand how she can do that better. It's right there on your Facebook page on those recorded videos.
Okay, something's wrong with your mic. I don't know, maybe everybody else could hear it, but I could barely hear it. It was a rumble, so.
Linda, was go to the Facebook page and look for muscle testing as a topic on your recordings, because we covered it a couple of times.
Yeah, Vienna helped one day to do that.
And
so
one other idea, you're spot on with the muscles for the plantar fasciitis. I was treating it all kinds of ways. And when I released the muscle tension, the plantar fasciitis went away. So that's one idea. And I wanted to say, the body and WAVwatch and everything else doesn't speak English. We tack names on things according to the language we speak. It all speaks frequency. The whole universe speaks frequency. So that's why we don't worry too much about the labels, and muscle testing is testing frequency, not words. So that's why
great
it works, in my
explanation.
opinion.
There you go.
Linda, this is Linda Steck. If there's a way to bring, to multiply her blood out, like my sister has, and I don't know, the doctors are worried about us having too much or blood being too thick. Is there, and so they want to do, you know, other things. Is there a way to make that blood count or the proteins or whatever it is that causes our blood to be too thick? Is there something that you can run for that?
Yes, so I have some new categories, you know, on the updated WAVwatch, and it's in blood, and she could try some of those, you know.
Okay.
So yeah, and there is a whole hour-long session on blood, so you could look that up, Linda, and see if there's anything that might give you an idea there.
Thank you so much.
Mhm. And Linda, did you have some information on what you did for? Weren't you having arrhythmias or angina, something with your heart?
Well, I've been running the stenosis, you know, on the heart valves.
Mhm.
So, and that helps me. So,
Okay.
I have something to say about, for me, when I can't figure out what I want to do, I take the watch, put it on loop and play detox. Folks were being poisoned in the air, water, food, and electromagnetics. Can't play detox enough. If you don't have anything to do, put it in the pocket, play detox.
And just to update you, the newest one has an addition for glyphosate, and seemed like I had one more on there, maybe methotrexate. There were some specific frequencies for those, you know, and so just a couple more.
Well, you're really
Always
good.
informative.
You're
And
really
then
good.
one person was wondering about the frequency for nicotine. Now, what have you heard nicotine related to recently?
Snake venom.
That's right.
Sure.
So there is a possibility. It's a resonant frequency,
So
and that's what they are saying.
so this is a nicotine infusion, not a nicotine removal frequency?
Well, this works on resonant frequencies. So this
does
is the
indeed.
frequency. Yeah.
Okay, I just bought some gum today, and Celeste's friend started taking some of the gum and she got a rush. I'm gonna get that watch and get that frequency now. I'm gonna give you a report on it. That'll be
Yeah.
very
Check that
interesting.
out,
Yeah, I like that.
because we have heard that word in the news today. And this is, I mean, it could be to detox nicotine in your system, but we also know other things that are connected that nicotine does help. So it would be a resonant frequency going in and connecting with a similar frequency that might be in our bodies from a source that we do not want.
Now,
You
did
know?
where is the EMF detoxification frequency now embedded?
It is in the detox folder.
Okay.
Yeah. EMF detox.
Okay, and okay, good.
Okay. So any other comments? I think we're kind of winding down, and I just really appreciate people coming on and using the WAVwatch. I do like that. And I'm sorry we have a couple people just now getting on, and we're just about ready to close down. But any other comments?
I'm gonna order a new WAVwatch. What are you guys going to do?
And share the other one with your neighbors.
Oh my
There
goodness.
you go.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks, Linda. You're doing great
All
work.
right.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.
Appreciate you being on. Bye-bye.
Linda, this is Janet. Thank you so much.
Yes. Hello? Yeah, Janet.
I am so excited to be able to be on today. I usually have a meeting on Wednesday mornings and it was canceled this morning.
Oh, and I know you have tried to get on before. So did you get to hear the whole thing?
Not all of it, but most of it.
Okay. Well,
But
we'll
I-
catch up with, oh, go ahead.
I'll be in to get my new chip. New disc.
All right. Sounds good. All right. See you later. Bye-bye.
Hey, Linda, this is Shafia.
Yes.
And last week we picked up the new wristbands. I really love the new wristband. It's great.
Good. Good. And some people hate it. You know, you can't please everybody. Some
you
people
can't.
hate it, won't use it, and the next person loves it. So now I have two kinds in there. You can make your choice, or you can order your own.
Yep. but I just wanted you to know I love it. Thank you.
Thank you. All righty. Okay, anything else? All right, bye-bye, everybody.